about money.
Let's talk about money.
So the reason we want to address this is just about every one-on-one conversation that we have with someone, or they send a DM or a text message with a friend, they ask us all questions about money. How are you doing this? Or they ask, well, what is Nick going to do for a job? Is his job going to let him work virtually or take a break, or any of those things? And yeah, we just want to address how we're doing this and what our plan is for money, or lack of a plan, but kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a normal process to like, well, I'm quitting my job. Okay, well, what are you doing next? I mean, it's literally the next question. So are you going to work for a different company? Are you going to, what are you going to do? Because you have to do something, right? Like, it's just how it works. So, we're not going to get into all the details, but we've got a couple things that, we want to talk about, because we think they are, healthy, parts of having a budget and giving us the flexibility to do something like this. It's certainly not decisions we made overnight. We didn't have some type of, win the lottery or sell something, sell a business for $100 million or whatever those things are. My great aunt did not leave us any money.
No.
So we just want to just address, like, from a finance standpoint, like, this is what we do. We know we are completely different than every other person out there. So these are not as much like how-tos as much as it's just this is what our family does, and this is how we're able to do something like walk away from jobs and take a trip like this.
I also want to preface it by saying, we'll talk about budgeting and all those things, and we have certainly not been perfect over it or with it over the years. We've made lots of mistakes. We've lost lots of money in certain periods with business ventures, and then we've been really lucky in other periods with business ventures. So we don't have this like to a T. I don't know that you want us to teach your budgeting class.
No, you do not.
But we just wanted to share and address some of the questions we've had. So first of all, we're going to start with kind of in the first category of what goes out with our family. So since the beginning, even when we had no money, we have made it a priority to live beneath what we make. So sometimes it was really hard because we were making no money. And then sometimes it's been easier because it was good months or good years. But because of that, we have not accrued a lot of debt along the way. We have not accrued a lot of credit card debt. We don't have car payments. We haven't had them for a really long time. Somebody went outside. Yeah, so it's just, we've done a pretty good job at making sure we were living within our means.
So just from a monthly standpoint, we've always seen, like, what does our monthly look like, and how can we minimize that? So a couple places we have always focused on is, first off, car payments. In our 15 years of marriage, we have had one car payment.
For the insurance car.
I got an insurance car, a Camry. It was sweet. It was,
you were so proud.
It was like $22,000 brand new, and it was nice. Cloth seats. Perfect.
No, it's not fancy.
So that was the only car payment we've ever had, and we have kind of purposefully done that because we don't want a monthly car payment. We've always tried to save up and really just buy what we can afford. That car was the most expensive car we've ever owned.
And cars have not generally been super important to us.
No, we don't, but we buy used cars that have miles on them, and it's one of those things that for us it works, and we've had to kind of as the family's gotten bigger, it's like bigger cars, and we have a dog, and so it's become a bigger part of our a bigger purchase, but overall we have always tried to stay within our means from a car standpoint, which is important to us to keep no car payment on our cars. Mm-hmm. The second part you mentioned, credit cards. So early in our marriage, a buddy of mine was like, hey, I got this Marriott credit card, now I get free nights of whatever. And so, at 27, I'd never had a credit card. I'd never had a credit card. So we'd always been, cash or debit cards, but I got this Marriott card, and it was 0% for whatever, 12 months, and really quickly all of a sudden it got up to $2,500 that we owed, and we didn't have $2,500 to pay for it. And it was a wild just lesson of oh wow, when you have no frame of reference, man, you can just spend and spend and spend. And to us, early in marriage, oh my gosh, $2,500. So at that point, every commission check that I was earning was just paid that thing off, got it back to zero, chopped the card up, and we didn't touch credit cards again until maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So we went almost probably a decade without having credit cards, and now our perspective on credit cards is always we leverage the points so that we can fly for free, but we've never carried any interest, any balances, so we don't pay any interest. So again, it keeps us within our means and keeps our monthlies, as low as humanly possible. Another piece as far as Outgo, just in general, and it just kind of works for us. It's always worked for us, and now works for our family. Is that we just don't.
Family
interruption. So one thing, just as a lifestyle, it's we neither of us have been very we're pretty cheap people just in general. We definitely budget shop, and we priority for us is not buy lots and lots of clothes, buy lots and lots
shoes,
of
maybe.
We can talk about. We're gonna have a whole episode dedicated to sneakers at one point. I have a problem.
I will veto that.
But anyway, just our lifestyle and eating out. We don't eating out is really, one, because you have celiac and eating out's really, really challenging. But two, just from a budget standpoint, food. We're not foodies, so we eat at home and go that way. But really, at the end of 2021, we took a hard look at our budget, and
once we decided we're doing something, and we need to know, we knew you were going to quit your job. We need to know exactly how much we have to spend each month to keep going. Mm-hmm. And so we took a look with Mint. We use Mint.com, and reset everything, and decided we're going to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And it was shocking. Even with being, just how we normally live life. It was Christmas, so that's part of it. But we don't do a big Christmas. Mm-hmm. A couple years ago, we scaled back with the kids in a major way. So, I remember you asking me, I just want you to guess. We also had a home renovation in there. But I would just qualify all of this. You said, I just want you to guess at how much we spent this month. And I was way off. And when you told me the number, it was sickening. Yeah,
it just felt wasteful, and we were just Amazon happy, and it was not a good space. So we had to really readjust and say okay, we got to tighten this up and make sure that we're being responsible with the resource we have. And then the last point, as far as Outgo, it's the biggest one that everyone has to deal with on a monthly basis. It's house, right?
Yeah.
Is it rent, mortgage, wherever you're at? And so one of our priorities, and this has really always been the case, is we love real estate. We love investing and looking at value and opportunity and all that fun stuff. But our primary residence has always been purchased not in the best shape, either almost foreclosure. The home we own right now and live in, it was bought in 2018, and it hadn't been lived in for 2 years, and there's animals living in it, the whole thing.
It was rough.
Yeah, so we bought it at value, which we like, and keeps our monthly
undervalue.
But more importantly, over the 4 years we've lived here, instead of going out after we purchased it and like getting out a home equity line or a second mortgage, we really have just taken all the renovations as they come and just paid for them as we go.
Yeah, when we could.
Yeah, our front door has been a nightmare for 4 years. The outside, we knew we needed to paint it, but we're just like, it wasn't the highest on the priority list. So we tackled every project as we had the money to do it, so that we didn't stack another debt on top of it. So our overall picture towards debt for us is minimized, but we don't, aside from real estate, which is the one house we have, and a little bit of student loan from back in college, we carry no consumer debt.
Right.
Which allows us, not to be worried on the monthly side. So
then what we have coming in after you quit your job, probably the biggest, well, it's not the biggest, but a really, really helpful piece is we have decided to rent our house long term. Long term for us right now means 6 months and then month to month. We honestly thought we were going to have a really hard time doing this because this is a family home. It's a big house. And it's, I don't know, I just didn't have in my mind that it was very rentable or that people were looking to rent houses like this. But when we posted it, I mean, it was overwhelming. It felt like a frenzy of like, oh, well, we'll just pay you the whole thing up front.
Yeah.
Or if I give you $500 more than you're asking, can you move me to the top of the list? And so it was just, we were shocked, but we were also thankful because we were able to get what we hope is a really good family who will be good for our house, but will also be good for our neighbors. Right. And that covers, being able to rent our house is going to cover all of our expenses that will remain in Charlotte and give us a little bit as we travel.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty wild because when you think about your biggest expense, it's like, okay, now that's taken off the table. We don't have to worry about that anymore. It really frees you up to think, okay, wow, like what is possible? Where can I go? Because there's expenses, whether you are at home or sitting in Germany, you have to pay for, like food and living expenses. And so our mindset was, if we can get a lot of our budget covered here, travel becomes so much simpler because we're going to have the home covered. And then the second part, as far as income coming in, which just for us it works, is that part of the 11 years I spent in commission only sales,
and a few for me,
and a few for you, in insurance it pays this thing called a renewal. And basically what that means is that for every policy I was a part of selling for 11 years, as long as that policy is still active and being paid for, I get a very, very small percentage. Very small percentage is paid every month. But it really over 11 years has added up to where it is a significant enough amount. It's not retirement. It's not like we can buy a plane or anything, but we certainly can. It certainly is a monthly that comes in that is really, really helpful and is going to help us do a trip like this.
Yeah. And then I think the third thing is we, over the last 7 years, investing in a few houses and in a few businesses, some really successful, some not. Not really successful, but some did fine and some were major failures.
Yeah.
We've been lucky and have come out on top where that's concerned. So part of our simplifying process has been, settling out of those things, whether it's selling vacation house that we had, or, stopping businesses or whatever that looks like. We have been able to have a little bit of money to help us have a cushion as we move forward.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't own like a massive portfolio of real estate. We owned a couple, but we have, like many people, taken advantage of like the market, and we were fortunate to purchase at a good time a couple years ago, and those properties that we sold have really, really come to fruition, and it's kind of given us a windfall that is allowing us to have some cushion to do something like this.
Yeah.
Other than that, the future of this little venture, we have no idea. We have no idea what is coming next and how, because we have a finite amount of resource to do
sure,
this.
We have to find a way to make money. Like we
Yeah.
have to figure this out. We can't do this forever.
Forever, no. But we've gotten to a place so where we feel very comfortable
Yeah.
in going off and having like a 6-month adventure, seeing what happens after that, and being completely fine from a financial standpoint, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think for me it's been a little bit of a harder process. But here I am, and I do feel peace about it. So I do think it's going to work out however it works out. I mean, we may not live the same lifestyle when it's said and done, but this whole thing is about shifting our priorities.
Yep.
And our priorities have been to build wealth,
Yep.
to what's possible for us. And we're looking at that saying, we don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
We want, other things to be important. And so I think with that comes discomfort that I'm working through. Our kids will work through that. But we're in it. We're ready. I feel good about it. So
Yep.
I think it's gotten dark because the storm is coming.
So that's money.